Hello, BookTube. Well, I no sooner crawled my way out of one clingy, codependent deadline than I got another one lobbed on me right away, which is a little annoying, but great for the bottom line at the end of the month. And, of course, there's a killer snowstorm on the way, the 4th in March. But we still have time for a little mail, don't we? I got a little mail. I might get more today. I'm assuming that I will get none tomorrow for the 4th Wednesday in a row. But you never know. I assumed that during last week's blizzard, and my mail truck driver came through, I suspect, by driving especially for me and a couple of other people. I think he was given a day off. But I can't count on that happening, so, this is the way it's going to be from now on. Nothing on Wednesday. Massachusetts is closed on Wednesday. But let's see what we have here. Ooh, okay, this is Pegasus. I didn't request this. This is a fascinating subject. Okay, this comes out in August. When in early August, Massachusetts is going to have a real hard time explaining to everybody else in the world why we're still getting blizzards every Wednesday. And yet, I'm sure we will be. But anyway, in the meantime, this is the Terracotta Warriors, exploring the most intriguing puzzle in Chinese history by Edward Berman. Let's see what we have here. Let's try our new, there we go. Here, I'll hold that up so you can look at that instead of me. Exciting investigations in northwest China are about to reveal more of the mysteries of the huge mausoleum of the Qin Emperor, a portion of which was accidentally discovered in 1974 by farmers digging a well. The second phase of an international research project begun in 2011 is ongoing, with promising new excavations in Pit 2, with exciting fresh discoveries already announced. The book begins with the discovery of the Terracotta Warriors and tells the history of the Qin dynasty and as much as is known of the construction of the mausoleum in the 3rd century BCE. Which means before the Common Era, which is dated to the time of Christ, and which is meant as a substitute for BC, which stood for before Christ. And the difference is, anyway, based on the work of the historian Sima Qian. Sima wrote that the first emperor was buried with palaces, towers, officials, valuable artifacts, and wondrous objects. According to this account, 100 flowing rivers were simulated using mercury, and the ceiling was decorated with heavenly bodies high above the features of the land. The new findings and the descriptions of the mausoleum based on the historical account suggest that the next discoveries may surpass the size and conception of the original discovery of the Terracotta Warriors. Oh, wow. Wow. You have to wonder, and not just in ancient China, you have to wonder, our ancient history reports are full of stories of the unbelievably science fiction style mausoleums that dead rulers made for themselves. We always think of the pyramids, but you have to wonder what things are buried in mountain hillsides or under grassland, or in wells that may come to light if only we have the time and the freedom to look for them. Let's see what this next one is here. It's a finished copy of something. What we got here? Oh, great! Oh, fantastic! This is by John Dipple. This is To the Ends of the Earth. This is the truth behind the glory of polar exploration. And there on the cover, at the top, you see my babies. The unacknowledged victims of polar exploration. And the reason why I don't consider a lot of these people to be heroes. Because, whoopsies. Because when the going got tough, they showed the grit and determination that was the pride of their home countries. And when the going got a little tougher, they shot their dogs and ate them. So this is out already. Okay. All right. So I have to get to this right away. And I will get to it right away, but I'm a little bit uncertain how much I'm going to feel like reading about polar exploration tomorrow, during a blizzard at the end of March. But anyway, let's see, we're going to do this right. Usually there's something to look at other than my face. From the late 17th to the early 20th century, intrepid explorers from America and Europe risked and sometimes lost their lives exploring the forbidden, uncharted landscapes of the Arctic and Antarctica. What drove these men and undertake these seemingly impossible journeys? In this deeply researched new book, author John Tipple makes a convincing case that dozens of polar expeditions were motivated less by courageous idealism than personal ambition and national interests. Okay. All right. Well, that's hasn't been avoided in earlier books, but that's good. Any book that brings those elements to light is good. Because there's a little bit of piety involved in polar explorations that is a little grating. The author traces the way in which men of unbridled ambition responded to society's need for heroes by masking their true intentions behind patriotic sentiments and noble claims about advancing science. In so doing, they frequently put their own lives and the lives of their men at enormous risk. No mention of the dogs so far. That's all right. If Scott and Amundsen and Perry had shot their men and ate them. Anyway, the men did a lot less work to get these men even anywhere close to the poles as the dogs did. At the same time, they projected an attitude of cultural superiority, looking down on indigenous Arctic people as savages. This disrespect and ignorance of native means of transportation, diet, shelter, and knowledge of the terrain often led explorers into disaster, where men perished from starvation and exposure or nearly lost their minds. In the end, the failure of so many polar expeditions exposed the limits of humanity's control of nature and helped to undermine faith in inevitable progress. Expose the limits of humanity's control of nature? Absolutely. Help to undermine faith in inevitable progress? Absolutely not. That never happened. The reverse always happened, even when the expeditions failed. Unless the author convinces me otherwise, he could. As the author notes, this new consciousness has continued to influence our thinking to the present day. Okay. And he has written a bunch of stuff. Good Lord. He's an independent historian. I love those. Much as I love Yale and Harvard University presses, I love independent researchers who just do it on their own. That's just, they live by book to book and by lectures, and I love that. Okay, so he's written a ton of books about Arctic exploration and a bunch of other things too, including he wrote a book that I read. I was looking at this and I was thinking, oh come on, there's no way he could have written this many books and have me not read one, but he did. He read Bound Upon a Wheel of Fire: Why So Many German Jews Made the Tragic Decision to Remain in Nazi Germany, which was wonderful. Okay, so this is out already. And I'll have to get right to it. Again, tomorrow I'm not sure that I'm going to feel like reading about Arctic exploration because this storm pattern is bothering me, as you can tell. It's bothering me. I don't mind. I'm perfectly prepared for snow in the winter. But late March is not the winter anymore. We're a week away from April. And this is going to be the fourth time in 4 weeks, in 4 Wednesdays, that the entire city is shut down, that it's dark all day long, that the roads are empty, that the hospitals are full, by a state-paralyzing blizzard. Anyway, let's do this last one here. Whatever here. Oh, fantastic. Okay, great. This is by Mike Stanton, who wrote The Prince of Providence, that I bet a lot of you know about and read. And this is Unbeaten. It's the story of Rocky Marciano. Wonderful. Okay. And it doesn't come with a pub sheet, so you're going to have to look at me while I read it. But you already know, a lot of you probably already know the story of Rocky Marciano. The son of poor Italian immigrants with short arms and stubby legs, Rocky Marciano accomplished a feat that eluded legendary heavyweight champions like Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. He never lost a professional fight. His record was a perfect 49-0. Unbeaten is the story of this remarkable champion who overcame injury, doubt, and schemes of corrupt promoters to win the title in a bloody and epic battle with Jersey Joe Walcott in 1952. Rocky packed a devastating punch with an innocent nickname, Susie Q, against which there was no defense. Much the same could be said of a book olive. If she mentions Susie Q, leave the room immediately. As the champ, he came to know presidents and movie stars and the organized crime figures who dominated the sport, much to his growing disgust. He may have stood out in boxing like a rose in a garbage dump, as one sports writer said, but he also fought his own private demons. In the hands of the award-winning journalist and biographer Mike Stanton, Unbeaten is more than just a boxing story. It's a classic American tale of immigrant dreams, exceptional talent wedded to exceptional ambition, compromises in the service of the greater good, astounding success, disillusionment, and a quest to discover what it all meant. Like Susie Q, it will knock you off your feet. And he, like I said, he's the author of The Prince of Providence about Buddy Cianci that here in New England anyway, it sold like hotcakes when it came out. Great. Fantastic. Okay, Rocky Marciano. Some of you might be thinking, well, that doesn't seem like a Steve kind of book. But I read Jonathan Agg's gigantic book on Muhammad Ali last year and was blown away by it, and sort of reminded me, as I think I might have mentioned on this channel when I got an advance copy of it, now that I think about it, it sort of reminded me that sports writing is often electrically good, even though I have no interest in the sports themselves. And the Rocky Marciano story, I know he's had at least 2 or 3 serious biographies. I won't know from this advance copy because it won't have any. Oh, no, it does have supporting material. Oh, lots and lots. Good Lord, the bibliography is longer than some books on Rome. I know that he's had 1 or 2 serious biographies, but I've never read any. This will be my first Rocky Marciano biography, so that's great. And that comes out in June. When, again, a weekly blizzard every Wednesday like clockwork, so that if you don't have a calendar, you don't have a watch, and you don't have an iPhone, and you're just walking around, and suddenly it starts to blizzard at 8 a.m. in the morning and blizzards all day long, you can say, today is Wednesday. That's going to be harder to explain in the middle of June. I guess we'll have to come up with a way. So we've got Ends of the Earth, about the human, the grubby side of these heroic polar expeditions. Then Unbeaten, about the undefeated, Rocky Marciano. And then the Terracotta Warriors, which comes out in advance of what sounds like will be astounding new revelations in the same archaeological dig. So this will be everything about the Terracotta Warriors, and you got to wonder in 5 years what book will be replacing this one and what we will have found. Can you imagine? A farmer again, or a well digger in rural China, chipping through what they feel is something hard underneath the soil, and it's the roof of a buried mausoleum, and they've got a 30-foot drop beneath them. That actually happened in Roman excavation. So imagine if it happened again in China. That would be incredible. So we've got a small mail haul on the eve of a big storm. So I'll wrap it up here, but I've got plenty more to talk to you about. So I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.